My name's Dr. Hamisi Kote Ali.
Yes.
I am the founder of the Human Garage, where pain is not a lifestyle. And the Human Garage is nothing other than a place where people can come to get service.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, you have no problem with your body, but you want to have your body balanced and body aligned to work well. So we do service. You come to our place, if let's say it's the first time, you got an ankle sprain, you got an injury on the knee, you got a blunt injury, you come, we do a repair. And then you have been you have been having problems. Let's say you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have constipation, you have back pain, you have joint pains. You come to us to do restoration.
Okay, sawa sawa. So based on the few things we've talked about before we got on set, inamaanisha one, you believe that everything is curable.
Yes.
Literally everything.
Yes.
How so?
Because everything is about balance.
Okay.
When we maintain a balance of the structure, which is the physical body,
Yes.
and then we maintain a balance of the homeostasis. Homeostasis is the internal environment within the body. Then we give our body the optimum environment for it to work and perform its function properly at its peak. When this happens, one, you'll be free from a lot of problems, a lot of diseases. It does not mean you cannot get sick, but whenever you get sick, your body is able to fight it and heal itself. Yes.
Wow. So unajua mtu akisikia service, the first thing that comes to mind ni kubadilishwa oil. Can you talk about a person mwenye amekuja, nothing wrong with them?
Yes.
People always talk about, hey, don't go for a checkup, you'll definitely find something wrong with you.
Yes.
So what is it like for a person who comes and there's nothing wrong with them?
Actually, nobody has nothing.
Everybody has something going on.
Yes, everybody has something, because it starts at birth. Most of it, if you've ever watched a birth process or even on TV, it's a very traumatizing event.
Yes.
It's a very traumatic event. As a baby is coming out of the birth canal, there's a lot of rotation and twisting of the neck. That is where the problem starts. Whether the baby is born through C-section or the baby is born natural, there is a lot of trauma that happens to the baby at that beginning of life. Yeah, kama ni kuzaliwa normal, anaweza kuwa shingo inaninia, anavutwa, ana rotate.
So what you're saying is wrestling starts at birth?
Yes.
Okay, sawa sawa. Now when it comes to hizo vitu zote, you also say that it's actually possible to extend your lifespan.
Yes, you can extend your lifespan. If you maintain, you see, the biggest thing that we lose when we get older is mobility. It's the ability, we lose the ability. It's not the cancer, it's not the hypertension, it's not the diabetes. It is loss of the ability to move from point A to point B. Because when you lose the ability to move from point A to point B, then you lose your independence of what is called activities of daily living. And the next thing that happens, you start getting depression. Then you get all sorts of sickness that will follow.
Yes.
Now, when you are able to maintain mobility, one, your stress levels will go down. Number one. Number two, when your body does not hurt, then it functions better. And when you are able to keep your body in this good state, and you don't get an accident, chances are you may be able to live up to 100 years or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it that you have learned about some of the things, if you can just give us highlights of the human body, things that you have learned? I actually consider myself a student of life in this sense. Kama juzi, I was toying around a subject called semen retention. There are people who believe that if you go for long periods, as in if you practice celibacy, you actually introduce a new energy into your body. Has this crossed paths with what you have learned in the process of becoming?
In a different way, yes.
How so?
You see, most men will be a 2-minute man, or 1 minute, or 1 second, 5 seconds men. A lot of us will be like that. There was a post about men and fertility in NTV, in Nation, I think yesterday. And what happens is that if you are able, we say sharpening the knife, if you're able to sharpen your knife, desensitize your knife. If you're able to desensitize your knife, then you are able to hold longer the journey. And you can have the journey even for half an hour, and not get to get to the climax and release.
Yes.
If you're able to do this, not only do you help your body internally, but you also help how your sharpness of the brain. It helps re-energize your body. Okay, that's number one. Why? Because every time you just come and release, you're wasting energy. You're draining your body. You're making your body weak. So if you are able to sharpen your knife and make your knife desensitive, then what will happen is that you don't waste as much calories, as much energy, because every time you go, it's millions of cells that you release. It takes almost a month for you to get that energy back. So if you are doing it daily, you can see how weak your body gets over time.
So what you're saying is you need to be economical with horniness. That's number one. And number two, the people who stay the long distance, the marathoners, are the healthiest people we have.
Yes. The less you ejaculate, the better.
And here we've been making fun of people being on top of each other. Na people, mtu amepiga flight mpaka America, we bado unafanya the same thing. So it's actually healthy.
That's what it should be.
So your advice to people is to be long-term sinners. It helps you.
Yes, yes. If you're long-term, if you run marathon,
yes,
like Eliud, you see he's strong and healthy.
Yes.
Why? You need that stamina to last long haul.
Yes,
so if you're able to desensitize your body and reduce the amount of ejaculation that you do, you're gonna get your body more stronger by far than when you keep on ejaculating every time.
So when you have sex for a long time, if I can say it like that, you're actually treating yourself.
If you're able to control,
if you're able
to control, and not through drugs though. Don't take Cialis and think that is prolonging it. That is not it.
What's the science behind that?
What?
In terms of, as in the energy, you've explained the energy goes back into your body. Yes. And you don't lose it.
You don't lose the energy. Because remember, this place here below the novel, it's called the Dantian.
Yes.
It's where you hold everything about your energy, and that's where you store it.
Yes.
You have, Indians will call them chakras. And it's here where you store everything. And every time you keep on releasing it, you weaken this area. This area becomes weak.
Yes.
When your muscles there becomes weak, then you also have a weak erection.
So so for the people who practice the opposite of yoga inaitwa nyongai, like the nyongi apparatus, wale watu wa kunyonga, inamaanisha they by doing that, there are people who come from the point of you are actually strengthening your eggs. Like your system now produces new eggs and you become healthier by that. Can that stand a scientific? Can it be judged on a table of science?
I'm not very sure about the yoga. I don't know much about what you're referring to.
You don't know yoga, but you know nyonga.
Yes. Yes, the nyonga what they're talking about. But I know yoga. But what I know is if you and anybody can do this. Any man can do this. Any man who struggles with the premature ejaculation can do this.
Yes.
If you are able to desensitize, and that means you have to
make it blunt.
Yes, you have to. You have to you stimulate it, and when you're about to ejaculate, you stop, and then you have to stimulate the other way, and then when you're about to ejaculate, you stop, and you do this for a period of time. Make sure you don't ejaculate.
So you can actually gym your.
Yes, it's called sharpening the knife.
Oh Lord.
So if you're able to do it and don't ejaculate, and you do it consistently for a month, you can take it to the bank. You last at least 20 minutes.
You increase your time.
Yes, you increase your time. If you do it longer,
yes,
you increase the time more.
Okay.
Okay? And the longer you're able to stay there that way, then you're able to satisfy your partner very well. Yeah, because women will take longer to get where they need to be.
Yes.
And most of us men are impatient.
Yes.
So
because it's not a competition.
Yes.
We need to do other things. Like we are busy people.
But you see, that's the problem. That's the problem. Then we normally say the female genitalia knows it does not know money or things.
Yes.
It knows pleasure. If you're able to play good pressure with it, and by playing pleasure with it, you need to be able to know how to arouse it and how to keep yourself longer there. then there was nowhere she will go. Whether you have anything or you don't have, she will not go anywhere. Because no one else out there will be able to keep the same rate.
Thank you for introducing men to a different kind of a gym. But then, there's something you said, ndio nikuite fundi wa spinal cord.
Yes.
How do you describe what you have learned about the human body in terms of vile unasema manipulating? You called it manipulating.
Fascia manipulation.
Fascia manipulation.
Yes.
What is fascia manipulation?
Oh, okay, great. Fascia manipulation is a method that looks at the human body as a 3D tensional network.
Yes.
So the body has a fabric. You know, the fascia is a connective tissue. It's more like a cloth. If you're eating meat and you have that nylon that you'd pick when you're eating meat that is very sweet when you're eating choma, for example, and it's difficult to cut, this nylon forms a mesh around on your body.
Yes.
It actually encases all your organs, your blood vessels,
Yes,
your nerves,
yes,
everything
yes,
is encased in
yes,
this fascia.
yes, yes.
Now, this fascia, for it to be functional, the body has what is called a basal tone. A basal tone is like power. There's power connectivity. There's power connectivity, and that's why there's life. Now, to maintain this basal tone, the fascia has to be stretched in a given way. Okay? So over time, as we are aging or even as we go through life, the body starts getting tight. The fascia starts getting tight. When the fascia gets tight, it starts strangling, compressing organs,
Oh, yes.
nerves,
Yes.
blood vessels. Everything gets more like a compressed.
Yes.
Okay? So you start losing the tensional the 3D tensional network.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you'll either start a limp,
Okay.
or you'll have gas, or you have constipation, or you'll have a headache, or something will go off in the normal functioning of your body. Okay? So fascia manipulation is a method that now understands this 3D network that provides a map of the body.
Yes.
And you can use this map of the body
Yes.
to treat musculoskeletal problems and internal dysfunction. We don't call them diseases. We call them dysfunctions, because a dysfunction is that thing that makes it not work.
Yes.
Because when it doesn't work, it'll give you a disease.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So as we correct the skeletal dysfunction, I mean the dysfunction within the fascia, to help the body heal itself, because the power that made the body heals the body. I'll give you an example. If you cut yourself with a laser blade of doing anything, that wound will heal, and you will never even know where the wound was.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I read that in a book about the power of your subconscious mind.
Yes.
And I think it relates with so much that you've said there.
Yeah, and if you're able to look at it in a basic way, you'd say, in the beginning, there was an egg, and this egg had 3 layers. It had the shell, the white yolk, and the yellow yolk. And when you break this egg and you want to pour it into a pan to make it, the egg will not just fall, but it will have like
Yes,
a white
yes,
thing
yes,
and then a
yes.
mucus.
Yes.
Now, if this egg and this egg come together, life begins. What makes these things together to start life is called the innate intelligence. It's that intelligence that is there within the cells that will make these cells continue to do what? To multiply.
Continue. Yes, 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 yes.
And when they multiply, then a human being will be formed. Now, within that time of multiplication, another part that is very critical that forms is the central nervous system, which forms about the 18th day after the conception. Now, the central nervous system has a very unique property. It is the only part of our body that is encased in bone.
The central nervous system.
Yes, the brain and the spinal cord.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's encased in bone.
Yes.
The skull is encased in bone, and the spinal cord is encased in the 24 vertebrae.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, that forms what we call a communication center. So, because the nerves that will come from the spinal cord will get out into the connective tissue, into the internal organs. So it will supply the skin and the muscles and the nerves and the bones. It will also supply the bladder, the gut, the lungs, the heart, etc. Now, when all these things have been set and inside the body, they are set under attention, like an umbrella. there's a tension that is maintained. This tension has to stay this way because whenever it's spoiled, the body loses the gliding capability because the body is a gliding surface. When this gliding is lost, we are not able to move our joints easily. We are not able to have proper parastatic movement. Parastatic movement is how, for me to be able to speak, I have to have parastatic movement. There has to be movement. For me to be able to drink something, you have to be able to beat. There has to be some movement that are happening. And every time this movement happens, the body produces an electricity. It's called piezo energy. This electricity is like when you rub your hands. This electricity is what in Chinese we call qi, or qi energy. It's the energy that rotates within each one of us. Now, the human body again will also be able to move in 3 planes of motion. So we'll be able to move forward and back, side, and rotate. Now, whenever, let's say, you lose rotation, you start losing energy, qi energy, in that movement. So you're not able to generate enough energy. So what will happen? You'll start complaining of fatigue, start complaining of tiredness. And if that doesn't get solved, there'll be something else. You may get constipated, you may get acidity, something else will go off. And then that also continue a kink. If these kinks continue for some time, you will be so sick that chances of you surviving also become very rare. Okay. And that's why as we age, our body is very rigid. If you look at an old person,
yes,
they take forever to make a step.
Yes.
Even their digestive system takes forever. Even when they speak, you realize their voice, even the way they speak, they're not very audible sometimes.
Yes.
Why? It's because of these movements, this gliding in the body gets stuck.
Rigid. Yes.
When this happens, not only does it affect movement, but it also affects the metabolism of the human body. It also affects how we adapt to external environment. For example, change of weather. If it's hot, if it's cold. As this fascia gets stiffer, you also lose that. That's what even adaptability of the eye. Let's say you go to a place that is dark. Old people will have a difficult time whenever they go in a dark place. It's all because that firing, that communication between the central nervous system through the connective tissue to the other effector organs is messed up.
Now I understand why they say, my people perish for lack of knowledge, because with your understanding of the human body, you've also complemented something else I read in the book of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, of how stress causes diseases. It explains something about when you sleep, all your body functions zinaendelea kama kawaida, everything works normal. You have no input as to how blood pumps in your body. But now when you're stressed, it means some of the things may go amiss, and that's how you get a blood clot. That's how you get certain functions not working. And I believe that really goes a long way into aligning with some of the things you have explained there.
It's very true.
So it's proper to understand your body functions very well, how they work, so that when something happens, you could actually go back and actually treat yourself by addressing where this problem came, or actually avoiding that in the first place.
True.
That's correct.
True. You see, I'll give you an example. A gentleman by the name Dr. Sebi said once that there is only one disease. And when you look at it from the beginning, you may think, what do you mean there's only one disease? But let's look at facts. How does life start? Life starts as mucus, right? But when you get a cold, what do you produce? You produce mucus.
Yes.
When you get diarrhea, what do you produce? You produce mucus.
Mm-hmm.
When your body is stiff, it means the hyaluronic acid in the body does not allow what?
Yes.
The body to glide. Therefore, most of the time, we get sick many years before we go to see the doctor.
Ah, okay.
Okay, and that's why I said sickness starts from birth. I have patients I treat. Most of the patients I treat will have had, and maybe they're in their 70s or 80s, they have had a history of sinus, tonsillitis, or allergies when they were kids. And then after they thought or assumed they have overgrown this and they have left them, they ended up developing, over time of course, gas and bloating, acidity, constipation, insomnia, they can't sleep, and then they get stressed out. When these things happen, and they happen over a very long period of time, we tend to self-medicate.
Yes.
We tend to self-medicate. We get to do a lot of over-the-counter. And we do this for a very long time. Until now, they become very serious. We start now going to the doctor when the acidity is too much, when the constipation is really bad. And when you go to the doctor, you'll be put on an Nexium, for example, to help reduce the acidity. You'll be put on NMR or something to help with your digestion. But the structure part that was compromised is still compromised, even after you've taken your Nexium and you felt better. The
That
structure
explains
part,
recurrent diseases.
exactly, that explains the recurrency. So with the kind of work we do with the fascia manipulation, we look at the body from structure, metabolism, and the emotional part, because the three cannot be separated. It's like the same three layers in the.
What you eat, how you think,
Yes,
and
and how you move.
what you think, how you eat,
What
what you eat,
Yes.
and how you move.
Yes,
That summarizes healthy living.
healthy living. And the other thing we say is your body needs to be regularly aligned. You need to have your body alignment. Your body has to be aligned. We take it for granted to have a balance of our organs, a balance of how we distribute weight from left to right. It plays such a key role in your overall health.
So how long should a normal human being go for service? Vits every 1 month, 3 months, depending on how
If you have no problem, once in it depends, again, it will go also with age. If you have no problem, you spend a lot of time in the office, once every 3 months would be ideal, or 4 months. If you are very active, you may need to do it maybe slightly sooner. Say guys who like run marathons, guys who play rugby, their body will need to be constantly be put in tune, one, for prevention of injuries, and two, to keep them performing at optimum. And whenever they get an injury, they're able to get out of that injury within the shortest time possible.
So it sounds like so much fun what you do. And you
It
say
is.
something that got me very curious about how life starts, about an egg meeting another egg. Then how does P2 work?
Maybe I'm not supposed to say this, but if I was the one to say, I would ban all family planning. If I was the one to say. I'm just saying if I was the one to say. Because as family planning is good as it is, it's only one side of the story that is sold to the consumer. The good side. The side that you're not going to get pregnant. The side of what happens 30 years, 40 years, 20 years after you've been on those pills, nobody talks about it.
What happens?
I'll give you a very simple example.
Yes.
The pill was introduced into the market in about 1960.
The P2.
The pill, yes.
P2 is that old?
Family planning thing. This family planning business is about 1960. It was discovered 1957, but 1960 is when it was commercially.
Yes. Yes.
And our parents, maybe even your parents, were the first guinea pigs of it. Today, these parents are suffering from all sorts of cancers and all sorts of arthritis. As their children, if it's male, they are struggling with fertility. If it's female, they're struggling with endometriosis, fertility.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
Everybody's talking about endometriosis nowadays, man.
Yes, it was not. It was there before, but not to the extent we have now.
Okay.
But it's, then our children now, they have allergy of everything.
Yes.
They have allergy of everything. The question is why? If you are to look back, you would be surprised how much family planning has contributed to this, especially the pills. Why? Because we also abuse them. You find WHO would maybe recommend you to use a pill maybe twice a year. But we're using it every Monday morning.
Or for the weekend.
Yes, every Monday morning.
Every 3 days.
Yeah, every Monday morning.
Unachezea hapo kwa safe zone.
Yes, and what we are noticing now, although nobody is talking about it, is you may hear, oh, my colleague, young lady has gotten a clot, dead. Reason? We don't know why she got a clot, but she's dead. Another one has gotten this cancer. Another one has gotten that cancer. Another one has gotten this autoimmune disease. If you are to put all those things together, of course there are other factors, but if you are to put all these together, you'll be surprised how much the pill would contribute.
For real?
Yes.
So, Have you ever gone deeper into the science of how, say for example, the pill, because it's the most common one that is used. I know legends use withdrawal. We have actually covered that topic. Legends play with safe days successfully, and they avoid baby mama drama for whatever reason. I don't know. It's the most successful family planning for Team Mafisi. It works for them. But for the sinners who have not gotten to that pro level, who have to deal with, say for example, the pill, how do they survive?
Let me say that the Team Mafisi are safer. They care about their partners because, well, you use the pill and we have sex now and you don't get pregnant. But I should also, as your partner, be able to look at your health 20 years from now. I'll be nursing you 20 years from now if I allow you to continue using the pill. You can take that to the bank. I will nurse you. But if we understand the hormone dance, and the hormone dance here is to understand the two players in a woman's cycle, the progesterone and
testosterone.
The estrogen and the estrogen. We can testosterone is also there, but let's look at these two, progesterone and estrogen. If you look at a female cycle of 28 days, for example, you realize that after the lady has finished her menstruation,
yes,
the estrogen is produced as a builder hormone. It's a builder hormone. So it's produced to build the womb so that the womb is ready for conception, to receive a baby.
So that's why most ladies talk about feeling like the devil is calling them around the time they're about to get that cycle, or after?
We're talking now, we start with when they have just finished.
Oh, when
they have just finished. When they have just finished, estrogen is produced as a builder hormone to maybe about 14th day. Okay?
Yes.
And then when it gets to about 14th day, if you're looking at a 28-day cycle, progesterone it will start being released. It's the happy hormone. This is where now the lady is very gullible. She's in the mood.
The estrogen is the devil's advocate.
Progesterone
Is the devil's advocate.
Is what makes the happy hormone for the woman.
Okay.
So when it's produced at this time, the estrogen comes down. So progesterone, we normally say, is like those guys who are going to do finishing. They go to do finishing of the house.
Yes,
they do all the smoothening so the house can look clean and be very nice. Now, the progesterone will continue being produced to almost maybe day 26. If no conception happens at that time, blood circulation to the womb is cut. Okay? Yeah. And then this womb now, because there was no baby, it'll collapse and come out as menses. Now, for the people who take a pill, what happens is that when you started taking your pill, the body says, we are pregnant. So progesterone is as a builder hormone, as a growth hormone, is produced to make what? Because we are pregnant, to make the baby, to provide the housing and proper place for the baby. So you go to 14 days, you pass, you go to 28, you pass, you don't get your period. So the body says, we are pregnant. So you continue being pregnant. And this goes on for maybe 5 years, whatever time you go. What you're forgetting is that your body internally, there's a lot of cell proliferation, massive cell proliferation that goes on in your body. This is what causes problem at the end of the day, because you mess the physiological clock of the body. That blood needs to come out if it has to come out, or it needs to keep a baby if there's a baby.
So that's the only two ways.
So the best is the lady has to understand her cycle.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, the partner has to also be part of the cycle. I normally say you only have about 7 days that you can stay without having sex, and you will not die. But if you feel you can die, use a condom or withdraw. Okay. Other than that, the other days you'll be fine. You can do whatever you want.
Has to know mathematics.
Yeah, you have to care about her, because if you don't care about her, you will nurse her. That one you can take to the bank. You will nurse her.
I also read somewhere about human beings being wired in a way that they don't care about the things that do not have immediate consequences.
Yes.
People tend, that was an explanation of why people smoke, because okay, I'm willing to gamble because it will not hurt me now. So maybe I think that's a conversation people need to have, and on a different platform, not on a different platform, and more awareness needs to be created on that. So then how do you explain if you can, how much can you manipulate fascia in terms of lifespan if you know all that?
It has to start from early. We actually do fascia manipulation from day one. From,
that a kid has been
from
born.
0 day to,
Yes.
to 100 years.
So when I get a baby, I need to bring them to be manipulated from...
It is, you see, what we say is you have to have an understanding why you're doing it. It is not for, some of these things are not for everyone, because some of us know everything. You know, that's the problem. But if
Yes.
you are to take care of your baby healthy, you see, like a small kid before 1 year,
Yes.
in my opinion,
Yes.
should never be given antibiotics. In my opinion. I could, you know, in my opinion. Why? Because you mess a developing gut. You mess the environment of the gut, what is called the microbiome. And the microbiome of the gut is what forms the basis of your immune system. So if a child starts antibiotics very, very early, that kid will be sickly, will have a lot of problems as they grow. Because when you take the antibiotics, it's like throwing a bomb into a premature, a gut that is still developing, a gut that is still growing.
Yes.
And this will destroy good and bad bacteria. And it forms a chain reaction of drugs. I'm not saying you should not take drugs. There's room for everything. There's room for using medication, but there's also room that says you should not do it.
Now that I'm confused.
Yes.
If I have a baby and I have this information, but my baby has not been manipulated yet, the baby's fascia has not been worked on. So what do I do when the need to administer antibiotics happens? Do I pray for this baby, or do I work with fascia?
No, you can. You see, that's why I'm saying there's a room for both. If a baby is critically ill, will need definitely to be treated.
Yes.
But after the baby has been treated, and the baby is well, you see the way we take medication for such a long time. The baby can be put on a treatment for a very short time. Okay. And once you have overcome that hurdle,
yes,
that hurdle that you need to overcome, that hurdle of illness, the rest should be more wellness, should be more things that are less harmful to the baby than things that are more harmful to the baby. You realize that simple thing as just letting your kids out in the grass to play, barefoot and putting their hands down and eating dirt and all that, that will reduce the amount of allergies in your child.
So hata me sanitizing my baby after every 2 minutes nikiona ameshika kitu suspicious, I'm actually messing up rather than fixing.
If you look at kids who grow in the rural areas and kids who grow in Nairobi, which kids have more allergies? I use that as an example. Which kids go to mostly to hospital?
Unajua, my daughter is just 4 years old, and I think there are instances that I've sanitized the whole baby because of hiyo vile nimeona akicheza.
No, so we come from the ground, Mother Nature, which is the earth. We're just like a plant. We are part of the plant of the Mother Nature, and we cannot run away from it, because even when we live here for so many years, at the end of it, we go back to where we came from.
Sawa. Now, then, yani, there is so much in you, Mbaka. I hate the fact that we have to deal with the idea of time. But let's go to point that you don't wear shoes.
Yes.
How did you arrive at this conclusion, this decision, and why?
I started developing low back pain, and I had a time I traveled to Thailand, and I stayed with some monks, and I realized they don't wear shoes. They stay most of the time without shoes, and I was very curious to know why. And I ended up realizing that whenever we put our feet down on the ground, we connect with Mother Nature, and our body is filled with electrolytes, electromagnetic electrolytes, that whenever we put our feet in the ground, it's like we recharge our body. The way to recharge our body, all of us walk around with a lot of inflammation, a lot of aches here and there. Put your feet down on the ground, touch dirt, play with the dirt, and see, most of the chronic pains, chronic illness you have will disappear. 80%.
E-town.
Yes.
Nairobi Mugutupu, connecting with Mother Nature.
It's up to you. Nobody will force you to do it. You may think shoes will give you more protection, maybe more hygiene and all that. But at the end of the day, it's not true. You know,
how long have you been barefoot?
About 2 years.
2?
2 years.
2 years. You haujaingiza kiatu kwa mguu?
No.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Hii sewage unapasua hivi ukienda and you don't care.
I did that in primary. We used to carry ash to the toilet, to a primary school toilet. We pour ash and you still step on it and you go home and nothing happened. What has changed now that is so different? Nothing.
That's how connected you are with Mother Nature.
Yeah, and
as much as most of the time you're just connected to the carpet.
Here, but if you find me outside, I have no shoes.
I
don't do this one for anyone. I do it for myself, for my own health. I know the importance of it.
And for the 2 years, what's the difference that it has created? What difference has it created?
I have no ache in my body. I have absolutely no ache in my body. I have nothing like gas or constipation or acidity in my body. I sleep 8 hours straight. I can do things that most people my age will not do.
So the last time you felt some crocodile on your feet was 2 years ago?
Yes. And I have, if you go to my house, I have enough shoes. But I will not wear shoes anymore. I've decided I need to educate my patients. I need to educate people that I'm not telling you to go everywhere without shoes, but I'm telling you we need to keep putting our feet, our hands dirty in the ground, connect with Mother Nature to recharge our system.
So wherever naweza kuita we walk with you, you will not see the need to wear shoes.
No.
Do you mind where you step? Ama unatembeanga tu vile ulikuwa unatembea in school?
I just walk. I mean, we just started wearing shoes not very long time ago. If you just step back a little bit.
And you just stopped wearing shoes not very long time ago.
Yeah, because I realized they don't add value to my health. Yes, you wear shoes so that you don't get hit or pricked, right? But the damage is more. I'll give you an example. And I use my sisters, ladies. They wear shoes with pointed edges.
High heels.
And high heels.
Yes.
If you look at their toes,
yes,
they are like this. And when their toes are like this, their body is hurting. You can take that to the bank.
They are suffering.
Yes, their body is hurting.
Women are suffering up and
They will have a headache. They will have eyes problem. They will have back. They will have gas. They will have constipation. They will have knee. Their body will hurt.
But you'd rather die but still look good.
That's
Suffering bad.
That's what they find. They you see, it's a choice. For me, the same. I walk barefoot because I know the benefit of it.
So what do you feel for women in high heels when you see them walking? Because you look at them medically and you see the kind of suffering they're going through.
Well, you just know this is a patient in waiting. It's customers in waiting.
Oh, so women in high heels are customers for...
Those are customers. Even men who wear these shoes who look like I have a horn. Those are also customers in waiting.
Do you know, my daughter asked me a very weird question. I don't want to call it stupid. She asked me about the pointed shoes, whether if I wear the shoes, my feet zinafikanga huko mwisho.
Because you see, the moment, I'll give you a very simple example. When you compress your feet like this for a very long time,
yes,
and then you also wear a heel, there's a nerve in between our toe here called, there's a nerve here. There's a condition that develops there that is very painful. It's called motor neuroma. Mm-hmm. Anybody who has suffered from that thing, and I tell them to walk barefoot, they will. Because it's agony. You have seen people in town walk like they, and they're in shoes, but you can see like...
Yes.
It's basically the same thing. You have seen also ladies, their big toe is like this. When your big toe goes here, your back will hurt forever. It doesn't matter what you do, how many therapies or adjustment you get. If this one does not come back, your back will hurt.
And
continue
you're messing
hurting
with your balance.
Yes.
So when you check yourself as a human being, when you have a migraine, sometimes your head aches, there's a problem that is coming from the balance of your body and how you take care of yourself.
Yes.
Sio kitu ya kumezea Panadol sayo ama painkiller sayo.
I think we need to stop self-medicating. It's one thing we need. Medicine should be left for doctors.
Okay.
And we stop self-medicating because every time you self-medicate, you always, maybe you Googled or whatever you did, you always do it for the wrong condition. You'll never do it for the right thing. Because if it was so easy for you to Google and self-medicate, there would be no need of medical schools. Yes, there would be no need. So for me, I am totally against anyone who self-medicate. You need to go and see a properly trained person to be able to help you pick the correct medication if you have to get to use?
I've been worried personally for the things we eat. Like I've seen countless of times people talking about we now buy plastic rice. There's a lot of fake foods in the market. So what does one eat if what you eat actually determines how long you live in some way?
You get things from the ground and you stop eating things that are coming from a paper bag. Anything that comes from a paper, you need to stop.
What do you eat? What's your typical meal timetable like?
Okay, me, I eat very funny. I eat in the morning. In the morning is what I eat like my dinner. I eat food.
You eat supper when you wake up?
Yes, in the morning.
Yes.
And then I eat slightly less of a lunch. In the evening, I eat very little, or sometimes very little. And I eat things that we find from our farm. Things I've grown
sweet
eating.
potatoes.
Yes, I've cut out things like wheat. I've cut wheat out of my diet. The reason why I've cut wheat from my diet, wheat gets a lot of spraying. Whenever wheat is growing, there's a lot of spraying. And also the way when it comes to drying of the wheat, there's a lot of that. And most of the time you end up getting a lot of aflatoxin. But also wheat has what is called gluten. And gluten, a lot of people have an intolerance to it. Same to the broiler chickens and grade cows. There's a lot of antibiotics. A lot of antibiotics injected. So I like eating natural things. If I'm eating chicken, I want free range kitchen. I love that. Yes, for me, yes. But a chicken that grows in 3 days or 4 months, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to put that in my body.
When was the last time you felt sick?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
At all?
Yeah, I don't remember.
And it doesn't even, you don't even bother about how you feel. Ata easy headaches, sijui, ati there's a wave of sijui, a flu, you don't care?
No, you boost, you see, you have to boost your immunity to be able to take care of you. There is nothing, in my opinion, there is nothing superior than the God-given immunity. Nothing.
Nothing superior like
the God-given immunity. Yes, nothing.
So in your book, we can say that no disease is incurable.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes, accurate.
No disease cannot be prevented.
Yes.
So what is your advice to people now, the people who are listening?
We all need to work towards maintaining body functionality and not to wait to go for symptoms. You know, not to go to do a lab test and be told you have a malaria, or you have this, you have that. Simple things, like squatting. If you cannot go to a toilet, I like using this example. If you cannot go to the shaggy toilet like this,
yes,
you have no business, for example, going to the gym and lifting weights. Why? You're going to hurt.
Beside people, if you can go to the toilet, you don't need to go to the gym.
No, I'm just saying, if you work out, and you do weightlifting, and you cannot sit like that, comfortable, you have no business. Why? It is just a time before you hurt. It's just time, but you will hurt. That's why if you go to the gym, walk to any gym, you will find 80% or 70% of the people there have tied things in their legs, their ankles, in their hands, everywhere. They'll be tied to support.
Yes.
Right? But why do you need to support it?
Okay.
If your body is properly aligned, you should be able to lift that weight without struggle, without necessarily needing other external support. Okay. Because the body is self-healing, self-regulating, self-sustaining. With
the information that you know, what's the hope for cancer patients, for example, because it's one of the scariest diseases of today? What's the hope for cancer patients? You've already said that people should not wait to get to the symptoms before they can get checked, right?
Yes.
Solid. But what's the hope for people who are going through that?
For me, patients with cancer, my approach for cancer patient is one, find, are they constipated? Are they having a lot of acid? Are they having gas? Are they not sleeping? Are they highly stressed? Manage this. If you manage this patient will have a better quality of life.
Better quality of life?
Yes. If you don't manage this and you just put them on drugs for chemo to try and shrink the tumor, it will not shrink.
So you don't think chemotherapy is that effective?
For malignant tumors, no. I don't.
Wow. What scares you?
In terms of?
health-wise, what scares you?
Nothing.
Uko sawa?
Yeah.
You're fit to go?
You're fit to go. You see, we underestimate what our body is able to do.
Yes.
We underestimate what our body is capable of, what our immune system is capable of. We underestimate that a lot. But if we understand that health, I tell people health is free and cheap. It's not expensive. And health can be achieved by simple things. You barefoot, you eat healthy, you sleep, you do cold shower, you do deep breathing.
Cold shower?
You meditate.
I tried that or maybe I tried it in Limuru.
It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter where. These are basic things that are basic, easy, simple, free, available in nature that you can do to help strengthen your immune system.
So hot shower itself, as in a cold shower, strengthens your immune system?
Absolutely. You stress your body. There's a gentleman called Wim Hof. I don't know if you've ever seen him on social media. Wim Hof has started this global movement now of everybody doing cold. Why? Because science has proven the importance of cold in boosting your immune system.
Okay.
Same with breathing. You see, breathing is such a simple thing, but breathing can mean life or death. Breathing can change your life completely. Why? It is the first exercise that you do when you're born. When you come out of your mother's womb, the first thing everybody wants you to do is to scream.
Yes.
Whenever you cry,
you suffer like everybody else.
Yes. Whenever you go that, it's called sympathetic. Your body sympathetic opens up, fight or flight.
Yes.
And when you're leaving this world, you exhale, parasympathetic. So, breathing is the first thing that you need to know how to do it. Once you're able to know how to do proper breathing, and you cannot suffer from insomnia if you know how to do breathing properly.
For real?
Yes, you
now,
can't.
Now this screaming, and also this screaming thing at birth explains a lot of things. As in it fight or flight, that's where they induce cowardice into your body. That's how they make you a coward, because you say when they make you scream,
yes,
it activates your fight or flight.
Yes.
So hapo ndio watu
sasa unaingia kwa nini kwa dunia sasa. Ukiingia hiyo welcome ya dunia sasa lazima uta scream.
Now, are some people exempt from cold showers, like people who have respiratory issues? Kwa sababu watu wanasemanga hiyo taking cold showers can cause hizo problems kama inaleta pneumonia.
But pneumonia is a bacterial infection, it's not a cold.
Really?
Yeah, pneumonia is a bacterial infection. It's not brought by cold.
So all these things that we imagine that are brought by kunyeshewa, it's all imagination.
It's like the way you hear people go to hospital saying niko na ugonjwa wa baridi. There's nothing like ugonjwa wa baridi. Which is ugonjwa wa baridi?
Oh Lord.
Do you know one? Do you know a disease that is called ugonjwa wa baridi?
Nasikianga pneumonia, kuna sijui.
Pneumonia is a bacterial infection.
Na niko na kifua?
Kifua aje?
Nimefungana.
You see, that's what I'm telling you about the fascia. When your body starts getting tight and stiff and all these things, it will have a problem. But you can try this. And if you have a problem, come and ask me. Do cold shower for a month and see how different you'll be.
How can people find you?
I am at the Human Garage, and our number is 0713 030 395.
Okay. So Doc, there's so much information in you. Yani, there's so much information in you. I hope we can do this again and again, because we can't cover this in one sitting.
Thank you.
I hope tukikupata tena. I have so many questions, but in the interest of time, we'll just have to end it now. I know people, even my crew, our team, that our director, John, has so many questions that I've not been able to ask. All our viewers, I know, wako na maswali mob sana. Can we set this up again?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Visit the Human Garage. You need it too.
I know. Juzi niliumwa na mgongo hapa, kumbe sijui, maybe it's because I don't walk barefoot. These are things that I can solve na vitu kidogo sana mazi. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Yani, thank you. I know the sacrifices you've made for you to be with us leo. Nashukuru sana.
Thank you very much.